What is going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to give you guys 5 stocks that I plan on trading this upcoming week or that we are currently in within the Discord. But before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So the first stock up is Intel. Right now we're looking at the daily time frame. As you guys can see, we have us a double bottom here. And our neckline, we're currently at the neckline. We want to break above 22.1 in regards to Intel, and then we could potentially head higher. We also have fair value gaps to the upside, so we have a fair value gap at around 24.5, 24.9 give or take. And then your next one is around the $26 mark, between 26, 26.5. And then your next one will be at around the $29 mark, where you're pretty much looking to fill this gap at. So I imagine if I want to get into Intel, I probably would start taking profit at around the $29 mark. Can it go higher than that? Absolutely. I think the highest Intel can go is around the $35, $40 mark. There are fair value gaps that need to be mitigated. There's also regular gaps that need to be mitigated up here. But in regards to, like, I guess being humble or not being too greedy, I would definitely look, and I'm just talking about purely trading. Now, if you're owning shares of Intel, then by all means hold them as long as you want, because Intel does pay a dividend every quarter. So I would be looking to get into Intel. I already alerted to the Discord members to start getting into Intel, so I think this is an excellent buying opportunity. Okay, well, actually Intel doesn't pay dividends anymore. I think they stopped that, and that's why it plummeted. But regardless, who knows, they might start it again sometime in the future. But I do think this is an excellent buying opportunity in regards to Intel around the $22 mark. And so we look a little closer, and you guys know I talk about this all the time. Inverted hammer pattern down here at the start of the second bottom in regards to the double bottom, and then you have another hammer pattern here that's pretty much at the trend line of the double bottom. All right. And so I know someone is going to be like, that's not a hammer pattern. The wick needs to be like 75% of the body. Like, the market does not care about perfection, guys. It just doesn't. It doesn't care about how perfect a pattern is. I can show you tons of head and shoulders patterns that look absolutely hideous, but they turned out to play out. Okay, so the market doesn't care about that. So we're going to assume that this is a hammer pattern until proven otherwise. That's my philosophy. I've been using it for like 12 years now. It works for me. Okay, so in regards to a hammer pattern, this is how it would normally look. This is how a perfect hammer pattern would look, to be exact. So if you just want to, if you don't want to believe it's a hammer pattern, by all means, then you can take that out as a form of confirmation. But I'm going to use this as a form of confirmation, and we're going to stick to it. Now that we got pretty much the technical analysis side out the way, let's look at the options chain, because you guys really like when I go over the options chain here. So Friday, August 30th, a lot of calls came in for Intel. I mean, a lot of them. And so the main one that really got my attention, and really really most of these calls that's coming in is pretty valid. You have a 23 call for September 6th. The premium for that is 1.32 million. I know you guys can see the premium, but we're going to get into that in a bit. You have a 22 call, which is pretty much in profit right now because we're a little bit above $22. September 6th, 1.57 million premium. You have 21.5, that's in profit. But the main one that really got my attention, and I alerted to our Discord members, is the 25 call for November 15th. I think we got in at around 21.5, somewhere around that. So we're currently in profit on this play, but I really like this. And just so you guys know, I'm not making this stuff up. I alerted it. Intel 25 calls for November 15th. Very cheap. It was we got in at around 1.08. I also said shares are fine here as well if you want to like invest into Intel for a long-term opportunity. I do think Intel has the potential to head back to $30, between $30 $40. So I do think very, very good buying opportunity. And who knows? Again, I think Intel has the potential to start doing dividends again. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but if you get enough, you might get lucky. Okay, so that's my thought process in regards to that. So that's the play that we're pretty much in. So we look at the, where is it? So 25 call for November 15th. So we scroll over and we look at the premium. The premium is at 1.72 million. But not only that, the ask and bid. So the ask is at 13,244, and then the bid is at 2,054. So this is typically what I look at for a trade. I want to see the ask be way higher or significantly higher than the bid price in regards to anything I trade or even invest in. Okay, this one right here has a 23,000 premium. It's not exactly the type of premium, not premium, 23,000 ask. This is the 22.5 call. It's not exactly at the premium I want. The premium is at like 9 900K, but pretty close enough. So I would take that as well. That's a beautiful play as well. And then these two at the top, they have a decent asking price versus bid price. So definitely like this play. In regards to Intel, again, we're in the 25 calls for November 15th. I think Intel is going to continue to head higher from here. And then I also put out to the Discord members dollar cost average prices that they can get in as well. If you want access to that, Discord link is in the description below. But that's pretty much what I have for Intel. So moving on. Okay, so moving on to the next stock. All right, so the next stock is Walmart. And so Walmart has been really getting like some really nice opportunity, and I know somebody's gonna see this and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, like all these gaps to the bottom doesn't worry you." So I will say that I'm not in Walmart for like, I guess for long in regards to trading. And in regards to investing, I think Walmart is an excellent buying opportunity no matter what. Okay, but in regards to trading, so in regards to the trade that we are in 80 calls for November 15th at a premium of 1.34. Okay, so 1.34, really cheap, and I also said shares are fine here as well. So let's get into Walmart. So I don't really have much for Walmart. The only thing that I was really liking in regards to Walmart is the options for, chain. And so we look at Walmart, and as you guys can see, so we zoom over and we had a 80 call for November 15th, and then we had an 85 call for November 15th as well. Now the 80 call is what really got my attention, and I alerted it to the Discord as well. So it has a 2.74 million premium, and we zoom over, and I mean, look at the ask versus bid. Wow. I mean, you have a 22K ask and a 1K bid. You cannot, like, there's no way I can ignore a play like that. I just couldn't. Okay, I just couldn't. So regardless, if you want to trade Walmart or not, I understand if you don't. But regardless, Walmart pays a really good dividend, a quarterly dividend. It's recession proof in my opinion. Everybody shops there. I mean, in regards to the long term, and before the split, I believe Walmart was at like 150, 160, somewhere around there, probably even higher. I could be wrong, but regardless, before the split, Walmart was way higher. So I have no issue seeing why it can't get that high again. I think Walmart is an excellent buying opportunity here as well. And again, we're in 80 calls for November 15th. We got in pretty cheap. We got in at around the $76.5 mark. And then I also alerted dollar cost average targets where you can invest into Walmart invest into Walmart in the long term and dollar cost average into it, whether it be shares, whether it be dollars, whether it be fractional, whatever the case may be. I definitely think you should get into Walmart or be interested in getting into Walmart. Very good stock to have in your portfolio, in my opinion. The next stock. All right, so the next stock is Tesla. So Tesla looks really good. Okay, so I think in my last video I did say I had a price target of Tesla for 190. It went down to 200, so oh well, I'm $10 off. It is what it is. But regardless, Tesla looks like it can start recovering from this point on. And so we have us a inverse head and shoulders pattern here in regards to Tesla. Okay, now I don't think Tesla is a investment opportunity in regards to the long term. I think and this is just me. In regards to big tech, I think a lot of big tech are just overpriced or really high. And so I don't really add big tech to my portfolio long term. I just don't think the economy is safe enough for me personally to invest into big tech. Now, you give me Apple at a good price or Nvidia at a good price. I think Nvidia is at a decent price right now. But if you give me like Apple at 180, I'm jumping in that. But in regards to like things like Tesla and all that, like EVs, I know Tesla is not purely EV, but this is just an example. In regards to big tech, I'm just not a fan of just having a whole bunch of big tech in my stock portfolio. And the reason being is that my portfolio has I don't even think I ever seen a day where my portfolio was red when I had like Dow Jones stocks or ETFs in it. Okay, I think the best things you can have in your portfolio is safe haven stocks, stocks that outperform the SPY, or ETFs that outperform the SPY, or Dow Jones type of stocks. Small caps, sure, but a lot of small caps are in debt, and I just don't think they're worth having long term. That's just me. There may be like a few exceptions to the rule, but regardless, I'm just not a fan of having a lot of big tech in my portfolio. So Tesla is just purely trading for me, and so Tesla really looks good here. So Tesla has a inverse head and shoulders pattern here, shoulder here, head here, shoulder here. A lot of traders have the misconception that stocks have to have like this perfect, and again, this is why I say the market does not care about perfection, okay? But you guys can see it clear as day here. This is the daily time frame. There's an inverse head and shoulders pattern here, and so your neckline will be at around 225. You break above 225, you're easily heading towards 235, 240 range. I said this before in like a few videos ago that I do think Tesla can see 300 this year. I still believe that. Even here on the weekly time frame, I mean, this is very, very beautiful. Okay, so Tesla here, you have a shoulder here, head here, and then you have another shoulder here. Okay, you can even call this a cup and handle. If you want, you can have your cup here, and then another handle here. But if that's not enough, if that's not enough, then we can look at the options chain. You go down to back to the daily time frame real quick. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but you go back to the daily time frame real quick. I think your safest option if you want to get into Tesla is a break above that 225 level, which will be pretty much the neckline for the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Not only the neckline, but then you'll break above this daily trend right here as well, which will be this yellow line. So the blue line right here, this will be your neckline. The yellow line is your daily trend. You break above both of these, I think Tesla can go absolutely insane. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. I don't know why this is like slightly off. Okay, there it is. It's connected here on the 4 hour. For some reason on the daily time frame it's like off. I don't know. TradingView does that sometime. But regardless, Tesla looks really good. Check it out. We look at the options chain for Tesla. And so I didn't get into this because we just didn't have time left, and this came like at the end of the day, like literally like at 3:59. So these 220 calls for Tesla, September 6th, which is this upcoming week, you have a 6.53 million premium. 210 calls, you have a 14.5 million premium, and then this 225 call for this week, you have a 1 million premium. And so we zoom over, or we scroll over, I should say. The ask is slightly higher than the bid. You have 19K ask versus 17K bid. I think that's very safe. You have a 13K ask versus a 12K bid. You have a 10K ask. You have this is kind of even, but you have a little bit more, 4,890 ask versus a 4,882 bid. So I think Tesla can potentially start heading higher this week. It seems like institutions are in agreement with it. It seems like a lot of calls are coming in for it. I also believe our AI bot alerted this as well. I could be wrong here, so let me try to search it real quick. If you want access to our AI bot, it has a very, very high win rate. Well, in regards to the trades that I follow and I tell my members to follow, it has a very high win rate. So let's actually see if we can find this real quick. You have 205 puts. That's not a high premium, so I wouldn't worry about that. I'm pretty sure the bot alerted a 220 call, so here we know. Okay. Well, regardless, there was an order I believe that came in for Tesla. I could be wrong. We talked about Tesla so much in the group that it may like populate a lot if I search it. But in regards to Tesla, I think Tesla is excellent buying opportunity. I wouldn't say a buying opportunity, but a trading opportunity in regardless. So I would be looking for a play in Tesla. There's 240 calls that came in for, oh, this was Friday, so I won't even worry about that. But regardless, Tesla looks good for the long term. Again, I think Tesla is going to see $300 sometime this year. I wouldn't be surprised. It's the fourth quarter. That's usually when Tesla really starts doing good or starts picking up, so I wouldn't be surprised. Again, inverse head and shoulders pattern. You want to play it safe. You want to watch for a break above 225 on Tesla. Next stock is Google. So, I really, and this is crazy for me to say because I don't like trading Google. Okay, I just don't. But I really like Google for the long-term investing part. And I know it's a tech stock, but regardless, I mean, I'm not completely against having all tech in my portfolio. I just don't like having a lot of it in my portfolio. I should say that much. And so, Google looks great. I mean, it looks really, really great here. And so you see this trend here. We rejected here, rejected here. We tried to break, and then bulls got trapped. We broke above it once again, and now we are bouncing above it. This is a weekly time frame, by the way, and this is a weekly trend. So that just shows you how powerful this is. And so we look at and there's the only thing about Google is there's no fair, well, there is fair value gaps to the upside. I was wrong. I was looking at the weekly time frame. I thought I was in the daily for some reason, but regardless, Google can go as high as about the 190s. Okay, so this yellow line up here is the yearly high, okay, for this year, and Google went as high as about 190. I think Google is going to head up there once again. Now, the perfect setup, the perfect, and I mean the really perfect setup that I will hope could happen, and I wouldn't say you should wait on this. Like, honestly, I plan on getting on in Google like probably first thing Tuesday, depending on how the market opens. But if the market just so happens to open red, or Google just opens red, because sometimes it does its own thing. If it opens somewhat red and Google can just revisit down here 156 and form some type of double bottom, I think that's an excellent buying opportunity, both for long-term investing and for a trade here. Okay, I think that's beautiful. You will have your neckline at around the 170 mark, 169, 170 mark. I think that would be absolutely beautiful, guys. Beautiful opportunity here. We can mark out this double bottom real quick just in case you want a better idea or a better view on how it would look. But right here, so I would say between 156 and 160, great buying opportunity. Even now, I mean, it's at 163. Even now is a great buying opportunity. But if it just so happens to form this double bottom, if it could, that would be excellent. Or even if it just forms some type of lower high, or higher low, I'm sorry, higher low, and just breaks out of here and starts heading towards these fair value gaps at around 180. Highest I'm looking at is around 190. I think that's an absolutely beautiful entry. Again, I wouldn't necessarily count on this happening. I wouldn't wait on this to happen. I think 163, I think its current price is great right now. I mean, you don't want perfect entries. I mean, you want to get as perfect as possible or as close as possible, but you just can't expect perfect entries in the market. And just because I say I hope for this to happen doesn't mean it's going to happen. So we look at the options chain for Google. And so what I noticed in regards to Google is the 165 call right here. And we're pretty close to that. So the 165 call this was the only call that came in with like a really high premium, 1.88 million in premium. And then we scroll over, and as you guys can see, the ask is 12,631, and then the bid is 3,700. So I really like this Google play for 165 calls. And maybe you can, if the market just so happens not to open up too crazy Tuesday, I think that's an excellent call to get into and maybe start looking for that price target towards that 168, 169 mark. And then you can either decide to take profit or you can decide to risk it and see if it breaks this neckline at around 170 and potentially start heading higher. But regardless, I mean, we go back to the weekly time frame. Google looks absolutely great here. Okay, I mean, what more could you ask for? Really beautiful setup here. It breaks above this, you're heading back to the moon. And then at that point, let's say we do get up here, because I still think a drop is coming, guys. Don't get it twisted. If it does come up here and hits 190, then we can form some type of double top, and then this will be the neckline down here. So 156 will be the neckline. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Google. All right, and that's all I have in regards to Google. Okay, so Nvidia is the next stock. All right, Nvidia is really interesting here. So I told you guys about that 140 mark, and I think Nvidia is going to start trying to head there from here on out. Okay, I could be wrong. It may just head a little lower, but the fact that it kept holding 117, I said this in the last maybe video or two. 117, it needs to hold 117. If it gives up 117, it's heading to 109, 108. And so far, it really held that 117 mark. I'm very surprised by that. I thought it was going to break it, but it just investors would not give up on it. So I do think from this point on, Nvidia will start heading higher. And so we look at the AI bot in our group, in the Discord group. And if you want access to this Discord, link is in the description below once again. But we look at the AI bot in the group, and it alerted a call right here. So here we go. So 127 calls for September 6th. You have a 70% AI confidence. I tell my members you want to see a confidence level of 60% or higher, and then you want a premium of 200K or higher. So you have a premium of 276K.73. So, and the volume versus open interest, I'm not truly a fan of. So yeah, I would probably go for like a smaller strike price, but regardless, majority of this is pretty much playing out to my expectations. We bounced off 117. I do think Nvidia has the potential to start heading to 140 from this point on. And so we look at unusual wells, and unusual wells hasn't shown me that 127 call. And again, the AI bot, I say this all the time, the AI bot does not alert off unusual wells or anything, but I would like them to match, if anything. So I would like to see the 127 call appear on here, but you're not really seeing anything special on Nvidia in regards to calls. I mean, you have this 119 call, you have a 118 call, 115 call, but nothing really standing out in regards to Nvidia. So do what you want with this info. I really just don't have much. As you guys can see, it's pretty much bounced off this trend here. My only issue in regards to Nvidia is this area right here. A lot of turbulence here. So I imagine we're going to need really, really good news to break above that 130 mark, and then we can start heading higher. Again, the monthly level for Nvidia, like the month high for Nvidia is about that 140 mark, which is right about up here. And so that's where I would be looking to take profit if I was to get into calls on Nvidia. And I'm not long-term investing into Nvidia until I see at least $60 on it. That's just me. If I miss out, I miss out. That's fine. My portfolio will live without it. I'm okay with that. But regardless, Nvidia has the potential to head higher. I'm pretty much going off what this AI bot is saying. I think it's a really, really nice play, and the stop loss you will have is 117. Simple as that. Right now, Nvidia is at 119. Granted, it doesn't gap up, so I think the risk to reward is very, very good here. You can set your stop loss at 117 and brace below 117 or 116.8. Then you can exit the play. But if you jump into the play, then your target will be like 130. Okay, simple as that. So that's the stocks that I am looking forward to trading this week if I'm not already in. Discord link is in the description below if you want to see how I'm going to play them, when I take profit, so on and so forth. Our website link is in the description below if you want text messages sent directly to your phone on what I'm in and what I'm leaving. If you don't want to go through a Discord app just to get alerts, you can do that as well. And that's really all I have. Thank you for the support, guys. You guys have been absolutely amazing. The channel has been growing like crazy. The Discord has been growing, and I'm really happy. I hope to continue to provide value. I don't do this for the money. I'm not monetized or anything. I don't care to be monetized. I do this for fun. I do this to help other people. So I really appreciate the support, guys. And until the next video, traders, have a good one.